Awesome. So the problem if we don't have a way in which we can, free up our time or have a product that we can easily whip out when we need to, then there are a few things that we cut ourselves off from, okay? And one thing is that our work then, we have to be present in everything that we do, whether it be one-on-one, workshop, facilitation, training. It all has to be live and it all has to be face-to-face or with us. So there's no stepping away from. There's no stepping away from, and we have to really be mindful of our time and where we're putting our energy. And if we don't, and we've got a lot going on, then this can lead to where people burn out. And we want to avoid that by just bringing some new options in, okay? So one of the key things is that, especially one of the motivations for myself creating an online program was that I sort of noticed that in the coaching sessions, there would be, to a certain degree, things that I was repeating over and over again for each client, right? It was like the same trends would come up one-on-one, and I'd be teaching like the basics on some things. And it was just like, what could take, what was taking like an hour on a coaching session, maybe if there was a resource where they could learn that on their own, then the sessions could be shorter, or maybe we could focus on something that was going to be more transformational for the person. Okay, so that was one of the motivations. And essentially, when we don't have something like a program or a resource that we can use where it's 0 to many or 0 to 1, then we are doing the same thing over and over, okay? We are showing up, we are on back-to-back coachings, we are on, we're booking in our time, and we have to be present, and sometimes we're going over and over the same stuff. So it's always hands-on, okay? Now, this isn't a bad thing. Like for me, right? For me, nothing lights me up more than being in front of people, yeah? Nothing more. Like I had a choice to record this just on my computer, but I really felt that it wouldn't be valuable, because what brings out the best in me is having somebody to talk to, right? And so being hands-on is cool if it's a choice, but you will notice times, and I mean, can you just put your hand up or just, I don't know, wave or something, where sometimes you feel like it can be sort of like, a little much, if you've got back-to-back sessions, or maybe just 1 week it was, yeah, got some nods there, where it's like, 1 week particularly was just really tough. And it's like, even having 1 week like that, where you're always hands-on, is enough to take your focus away from what you're actually doing, right? And we don't want to do that, because we're in the business of like consulting and serving other people. So we want to make sure that we're giving it our all. So that's another one of the problems that we can run into when we're restricted to having to be always hands-on. The other one is that if that pattern continues, where we're building our business and we're starting to actually scale and get really, get more than a few hits on the board, where we've got consistent business, right? If those weeks are back-to-back and sessions are back-to-back, and we have no other choice but to show up and front up, this is taking a hit on our energy, okay? Because not only do we have a business, but we've also got loved ones that we come home to, we've got, maybe children, we've got responsibilities outside of our business. So with all of that put together, and then there's the running of the business, right? Which isn't just the delivery, it's the maintenance of the business. So we put all those components together, and, we start to buckle, right? And I've had this before where, she's got a tear in her eye. I don't know if that's what I wanted in the picture, but anyway, it gets to the point where, when we're showing up, it can sort of be like we're putting on that smile. We're putting on that, you know, like we've got that energy. But really, as soon as we hang up, it's like, oh, you know, and then maybe on to the next. And we want to have a way where we can take the stuff that we know can be put into a system and into an online program and put it in there, okay? So then we can free up our time and our energy and focus on the things that we actually must do, like face-to-face. Like, obviously, Steve's not going to, like, do workshops, right? With the virtual self, I don't know. Like, you know, it's not possible to run a workshop without you being there. So freeing up and doing some of the program stuff will be able to allow that energy to go into the workshops, right? For example. So that's one of the problems when we always have to be, you know, at the front of the shop doing the work hands-on, is that it can lead to burnout, right? And we can feel like we're having to really pull up our socks and put on that smile for our clients, okay? Especially for clients that are really excited about their transformation and their growth. So we want to make sure that our energy genuinely and congruently matches that. So is that all cool? Makes sense? Sweet. All right. We also have a huge workload. And like in my experience, it can become, you know, a part of, it can sort of become or get to a point where it's like you're just wanting to get through the workload, right? Get through the workload, and because you've got so much on your plate. And so maybe like the passion or the energy is just not where you'd want it to be. Should we be seeing? Yeah. Can you not see my screen? Oh my gosh. Okay. 1 second. Should we be seeing the screen? Yeah. Can you see it?
Now you're gone.
Oh.
Yeah, I've got it now. Now we got the huge workload thing.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So here, I know you guys enjoy the pictures, so, oh man. All right. So that's the over and over part, right? And we're always hands on, right? If we don't have that option to step back, and we're putting on that smile.
Now
right?
The comment about the tear in the eye makes sense.
Yeah, I just noticed it now as it's big on my screen. I'm like, oh, that's probably not the one I was going for. Thanks for the heads up, Cheryl. What a fail.
Yeah, well done, Cheryl.
You guys are like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, okay. You like the pictures? Okay, cool. You can't even see anything. All right. And well, you like this one. So obviously we got the huge workload. And so, you know, if that remains that way, I mean, there's going to be times where you've got busier weeks than others. And I'm not talking about that, but I'm saying consistently, if it remains this way, then, you know, it becomes just getting through the workload and handling it with the bandwidth that you have becomes more important than what, you know, you're putting into it. It's just like, get it out, which is what happens in a lot of jobs, right? That are understaffed or don't have enough people to help. And so we don't want that in our business, because 81% of coaches, and when you might have seen one of my videos, but when I read that stat, I was like, really? Like 81% of coaches don't make it past year 3. They either burn out, or they run out of money, or they disappear. All right. And they go back to doing what they were doing. And so part of this and part of sharing this knowledge with you is about being able to lower that stat. Okay. Creating this program is about lowering that stat and to give these options. So yeah, well, that's the result. We can run out of energy, and it's plain and simple. Okay. So having the options there is what we want to create. It's not mandatory that it has to replace something or that's all you're going to do. Okay. Some coaches and consultants do that. They're purely 0 to many, or 0 to 1. Okay. But this can be that, or it can be another asset that you have at your disposal. Cool. And we want to avoid all of that. Yeah. So if we do consider making something that is scalable, that we only have to work hard once for, okay, and then it is a product It's essentially, if we can take on the idea that we're going to create a product that we work hard once for, okay, and then then all our job is to put it in front of people through marketing, etc. Then that is what we call automation, and that is what we call being able to free up some of your time. Okay, now it doesn't have to be for all of your business, but looking at parts of it and what can you free up. So if we do, then we've got organized offerings. So at the moment, I'm taking you guys through this program, for example, and then I've got the Inner World program, which is similar to which is exactly what I was talking to you guys in the first week of this program, but I made a few changes. And it means that we've got organized offerings. So if we've got somebody who wants to learn about X, then maybe there's some pre-learning or a certain level that they have to be at before they can dive into some of the deeper stuff. Whip it out, give it to them. It can also really make your retainers or your offerings with your clients have different components to them. So there may be something that you do sell individually to different people, or if you've got some of your bigger retainer clients, then they've got access to all of your programs, for example, maybe, okay? So you can use these in any way you want. It's just that you've got more organization around them, okay? Awesome. So it's like a buffet, right? We're able to fill their plate with what they want. At a buffet, you sort of walk around, you skip this. See, what do I skip? I just straight to the chops. That's where I'm at. I'm like, pass the rice, pass the prawn crackers, pass all the Asian stuff, and I'm straight to the crackling and the chops. That's where I go, okay? And straight past the salads too. But that's what it's like, is we want to be able to fill their plate with what they want, okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about delivering to the promise, right? Knowing their problem and delivering to that promise. So the other thing is that it's really easy to access our knowledge, okay? What may take 4 hours worth of one-on-one coaching in 1 month, for example, may take 45 minutes in one session. Yeah? And also, they're able to do it at their own pace, in their own time. And there'll be a support system there. So usually you have like a program and then have some sort of like access to you, or, run fortnightly or maybe weekly mentoring sessions in a private forum or on a Zoom call like this. So it may be along those lines, and we'll talk about some of that stuff when we get into the how, but it just makes it a lot easier for people to learn at their pace as well. Okay, awesome. So like having a membership site that they can log into at any time, and for the content to be broken up accordingly as to what they might want to access is perfect. Would you agree? Sweet. All right. And then when we have organization and what we offer our clients, and we're able to, fill their plate with what they're actually looking for, and when we what was the last one? When it's easy for them to access, and it also allows us to step back, and we've got that, that little bit of extra energy that we've got because someone's learning what they need to learn, but we don't have to be there right in front of them going over it like we've just gone over it with someone else. When we've got all of that happening in our business, we've got natural balance. We've got flow. We're creating balance for ourselves when we're creating options. So I think it's really important to have that as an option. It may not be your main offerings, but you've got that flexibility. Yeah, cool.